We'll call the meeting. Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start with acknowledgement that this meeting takes place in traditional and ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We are all treaty people. So before we start, I just want to, you'll notice on the agenda, if you're from the public, there is no public part like presentation of tonight's meeting. Is an organizational chart meeting. So it's not a regular council meeting. So there is no 3 minutes speech or 3 minute speaking points. I just thought I'd highlight that if you've noticed. So approval of the agenda, recommendation that council approve the agenda for the November 12th, 2024 council organizational meeting as presented. Is there a mover? By Councillor Strong. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Babineau. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Anyone opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Approval of the minutes. The minutes were from the October 8th meeting are approved as circulated. So we don't have a motion for that. Okay, at this point. And we'll move on to new business. And it's not charted in your agenda, but at the start of new business on every item, basically, I'll read the recommendation after Kayla speaks a couple minutes on each item to let us know what we're actually discussing. So Kayla, 5.1.
So your first agenda item tonight is the council calendar for regular meetings. So we're asking council to set the regular meeting schedule for the upcoming year. The previous council held meetings on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of each month at 6 p.m., with the exceptions of July, August, and December, where we'd only meet once. Staff have reviewed the schedule and has no concerns about continuing it, so we're presenting this as our recommendation. Please note that we have recommended that council actually meet next Tuesday, which is the 3rd Tuesday of the month, but we've done this to accommodate the upcoming Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities Conference. That being said, if this proposed schedule doesn't suit council's needs, we encourage you to determine a day and time that works best for all of you, whether it's evenings, afternoons, mornings, or really any time of the week. This is your schedule, so it should be set up in a way that works for all of you. So this includes our recommendation on setting the regular meeting schedule for the upcoming year. At this point, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? If there's no questions, we need a motion to approve the recommended schedule with the addition of the meeting or the change to the meeting next week, especially because of the NSFM. So is there a mover? Been moved by Councillor Fullerton, seconder by Councillor Daphne. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor of what was presented by Kayla, raise your right hand. All those opposed, motion carried unanimous. Now we're on to 5.2, which is the deputy mayor appointment. So Kayla, go ahead.
Thank you. So tonight we're asking council to appoint a deputy mayor, and staff have provided 2 options for your consideration on how you might like to do this. So the first option is for council to elect a deputy mayor this evening by calling for nominations and then holding an election if there are multiple nominations for the role. The second is approving a rotating schedule where councillors would serve as deputy mayor for a 2-month term. This rotation would allow all councillors the opportunity to hold the deputy mayor over the course of the next year. If this option is chosen, the deputy mayor's remuneration would be adjusted accordingly, with the compensation split evenly among the 6 councillors to reflect the shared responsibilities, thereby increasing the remuneration amount for each council member. Per council's procedural policy, the deputy mayor primarily chairs meeting in the mayor's absence and helps finalizing the regular and committee of the whole agendas. And this concludes my presentation on the deputy mayor appointment. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Through the chair.
Sure.
I would like to nominate Rachel Bailey, so long as she agrees, as deputy mayor until council's next organizational meeting in 2025.
So Councillor Bailey's been nominated. Do you accept that nomination?
Through you, your worship, I would accept that nomination. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other nominations or any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the recommendation that council appoint Councillor Rachel Bailey as deputy mayor until council's next organizational meeting in 2025, which presumably is about a year from now. So all those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? Motion carried. No, we didn't the last time, so we haven't when I sat here before, and we've had a few deputy mayor meetings, so.
Okay. I apologize. I probably should have said that.
Thank you very much, everyone, for that. Congratulations, Rachel, deputy mayor.
Just say thank you very much to my colleagues for putting the trust in me to take on this position, and I will happily serve as deputy mayor until for the coming year.
Thank you very much. So we'll move on to 5.3, which appointments to committees. Kayla, you want to do a little update on that first?
All right, so tonight we are taking a look at some of council's committees. So council serves on a variety of committees and boards, including the town of Lunenburg's advisory committees, intermunicipal committees, which are typically established through shared service agreements. We also have committees with partner municipalities and our optional external committees. However, that being said, tonight we're only looking at the town of Lunenburg's internal advisory committees and our intermunicipal ones. So these include advisory committees like Heritage Advisory Committee and the Planning Advisory Committee, as well as our regional groups such as the Emergency Management Committee and the South Shore Public Library Board. Appointments to these external and partner committees will be addressed at a future meeting. So just focusing on those two categories that are presented in the report. Following our usual practice, council members have submitted their preferences for committee appointments to the mayor. So the intent is to now open up the floor and finalize your appointment schedule based on your preferences that were submitted to the mayor.
Thank you, Kayla. So I did get submissions from everybody. Thank you very much. Surprisingly, out of 6 of you, I didn't have a duplicate for your number one choice, really. So that was really kind of made my job a bit easier. So I did send you what I did with the chart out to everybody. So I guess we can start. Obviously, the audit committee and committee of the whole we're all on. So we'll start with HAC. We need 2 counselors there. So I had 2 counselors that had them quite high in their list. Did you all get a chance to review the lists? Okay, so we'll do them individually. I guess we have to. Each committee individually so the public knows. So on HAC, I have Councillor Babina and Councillor Strong. So is there any further discussion on that committee? Okay. On PAC, which is Planning Advisory Committee, there's 3 council representations. I have Deputy Mayor Bailey, Councillor Greek, and Councillor Babina. Is everyone okay with that committee? Okay. Next is Protective Services. There's actually 4 council members on that committee. I have myself, Councillor Daphne, Councillor Greek, and the Deputy Mayor. Is everybody okay with that committee? Okay. And if you want to speak up and trade or change, I'm okay. What I try to do is some of the counselors that actually work full-time for a living as well from 9 to 5. Some of these committees I know meet through the day. So I tried to be, considerate of that as well. So the next is the Cultural Tourism Working Group. So we have to have 2 members on that. So Councillor Strong and Deputy Mayor Bailey, is everybody okay with that? Councillor Strong is already on there, so it's easy. And then Source Water Protection Advisory Committee, 2 councillors are required for that. So I have Councillor Fullerton and Councillor Strong. Is everybody okay with that? So that's all the actual town working groups. Now the intermunicipal ones. The first one is we're gonna do it, right? Yeah, these 5. Yep. So Lunenburg County Accessibility Advisory Committee. So 1 counselor and 1 alternate if the counselor can't attend. So Councillor Fullerton would be the appointed counselor and Councillor Daphne would be the alternate. Is everyone okay with that? Okay. Region 6 Solid Waste Management Committee. Again, 1 counselor appointed, 1 alternate. So I have Councillor Greek as the representative and Councillor Fullerton as the alternate. Everyone okay there? Okay, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just out of respect for the meeting time, is that work with Councillor Greig's schedule.
Through the chair, yes, I should be able to make it work. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Next is Lunenburg County Regional Emergency Management Organization, otherwise known as REMO. And we need 2 counselors on that and 1 backup, I guess. So I have the mayor and deputy mayor on that. And I didn't really appoint a backup because almost everybody had that one listed somewheres on their list. So I didn't want to really upset anyone. So does anyone really want to be the backup to the 2 of us? Really excited about that. Now they do meet 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it is on Mondays, if I'm not mistaken. So does anybody want to jump in on that? Okay, excellent. So Councillor Fullerton would be the alternate. And last but certainly not least, when you see the other committees we'll have to review in future, is the South Shore Regional Public Library Board. And I have to find that on here right there. Okay, so 1 counselor, 1 backup. So the counselor is Councillor Strong is the appointed counselor, and Councillor Babineau is the alternate. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So those are the committees that we're doing tonight. So I guess maybe a motion by someone to approve all the things we've just done would be in order. So would someone like to move that? Moved by Councillor Babineau, seconded by the deputy mayor. Any further discussion or question? All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, motion carried unanimous. So that's, before I go to the next part, I'd just like to thank everyone for coming. It was a pretty slack, agenda tonight because we had to get our organizational meeting put, but I will say this, my colleagues around the table and senior staff, we have spent probably 150 hours in the last 6 or 7 days training. So that's one thing we heard a lot of, previously. So this council has been committed. They've been attending training diligently, and we've had external training, internal training. We've had every kinds of training you think of, and we have more to come. So again, I just wanted to let you know that this council is definitely enthused, and they've been very, very busy the last 7 days. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And before we go to the next part, there's a recommendation that the council move in closed session to discuss agenda items, legal advice and personnel matters. Is there a mover? Move it, Councillor Strong, second it by Councillor Greig. All those in favor? Motion carried unanimous. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I'm sure there'll be more exciting later on.